Good morning, y'all. Today I am here in beautiful sunny Florida. As you can see, I'm still in my hotel room, but I'm about to head downtown, check out some of these old buildings, and I would love it if y'all would come along and check them out with me. I'm in Fernandina Beach, Florida, located here on Amelia Island. And although it is a tourist destination, I'm on vacation, it has, being that it's a tourist destination, it has some of the most beautifully preserved older buildings that I have ever seen. So we're going to start right here at the Nassau County Courthouse. Now, this magnificent courthouse was built in 1891, I believe it is, and it still has the original pre-1900 glass in the windows, which is very unusual. That's not something you see very often. And although I'm not sure this the original glass that was installed when the building was built, it is pre-1900 just because of the waves that you can see. I don't know if they show up on the camera, but you can see because the process of making glass prior to 1900 caused waves or bubbles to be in the glass, and every bit of that has that wavy glass still there. Now, this is a magnificent building, and it's beautifully preserved. Now, Fernandina Beach, this is the historic part of town, and like I say, they have preserved these buildings and maintained them beautifully. It's really something to see. When I first came down here, when I first came into town, this courthouse, I just stood and stared because I was just in awe of how grand it is and how beautiful it is. And right across the street from the courthouse, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but I think it's the Lesanie House that was built in 1860. Now, isn't this a beautiful house that looks as if it could have been built 10-15 years ago, just by the way that it is still in pristine condition. It is a beautiful home, and just outside of this house is this amazing tree that stands over the sidewalk here and is just beautiful. There are so many structures here, so many buildings to see. It's just, there's really too much to get into one video, but I do want to highlight as many as I can and show you some of the construction and some of the beauty of this town. It's really amazing. Let me just get a shot down the street here. Now, the crowds have not arrived yet. It is very early Sunday morning, around 7, a little after 7 o'clock. So it's very early. Now, these streets will become very busy a little later. I wanted to get here before the crowd showed up because it would be very noisy at that time. But I'll take a look at the building behind me. Let me get across the street where I can get a good view. Now, this post office was built in 1912. Isn't that something? That is just a grand building. Now, typically I like to avoid very crowded areas and tourist destinations, but when I come across a downtown area, a touristy site like this that has invested in their buildings, and I just love this because the fact that these buildings are being used and they're being repurposed helps to keep this here for generations to come. I love to see buildings being reused or used and not left to deteriorate. I don't know if you've ever been to Fernandina Beach. This is my first trip here, but I have found the people very friendly overall, very friendly community. People from all over the world come here, but there are a lot of locals here too. And like I say, overall it's been very friendly, very inviting, just a very pleasant experience. Let me take a look across the street here and just show you some of these buildings and just show you how the downtown area looks. And these buildings, most of them are either from the 1800s or from the very early 1900s, and they're all being used, and it just continues on. These blocks are pretty big. Like I say, there are certain buildings I want to get in because I don't want the video to be too terribly long, so I'm not going to ramble too much, or try not to ramble too much. I do want to get a couple more of these buildings in. Now this is the train depot, or a former train depot here in Amelia Island, which is now the Welcome Center. This building was built in 1899, and it's right on the waterway here. I was down here yesterday and a train came along, and it was just, I don't know, it gave me a sense of how it must have felt, or how it appeared back in the early 1900s with the train coming along. Although this was a much more modern train, was not the steam engine, but I can just imagine the steam engine rolling in and the passengers disembarking from the train to this old train depot. Love the old sign up there, Palace Saloon, drink Coca-Cola. Hear the train whistle off in the distance there as we just are leaving the train depot. Like I said, there's way too much to try to show everything in one video. Pretty large, pretty big town. A lot of historic buildings here. If I did a video on the entire town, it would be over an hour long. So I want to hit a couple of these churches, and we'll showcase a couple of these churches, and probably end the video there. There's also a hotel here, boarding house, that has been in operation since it was built as well. I want to show that too. Like I say, it just continues to go and go and go. If I did everything, it would be an extra long video. So it's impossible to get it all in. But it really is just a beautiful area. If you love historic buildings, if you love a historic downtown that's still being used and has been preserved, it's a wonderful place to come. The marker on that building up at the top says and looks like at one time it was, I can't see what part of it is gone, but it says 1873. I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store walking around here because I get excited about these buildings, and you look at one and then there's another and there's another and then there's another, and you just want to take time and look at every one or showcase every one. And like I said, it's just not possible. It just takes too long. Maybe in a couple videos, but just take too long in one. Now this is the Florida House Inn. It was built in 1857, and you can still rent a room here today. 1857. Has been a boarding house, a hotel, and is still a functioning hotel. And I think that's amazing. I think that's just a wonderful thing, that it is still a hotel after all these years. It's been kept up to where you can stay there today. Now this is St. Peter's Episcopal Church. Now this is one of the most beautiful buildings I think I have ever seen. And being in Florida, it is surrounded by gorgeous palm trees. Now, isn't that a beautiful, beautiful church? I mean, that is just amazing. From the design of the windows, the doorways, just the entire structure. Now, I don't know if y'all can see the little rounded pieces on the roof there, right along the ridge line of the roof. Can someone tell me what those are for? Are they ornate? Are they just for decoration, or do they serve a purpose? Does anybody know? I would appreciate if somebody would let me know, because I really don't have any idea if those serve a purpose or if they're just there for looks. Actually, I really do enjoy making these videos. It takes me to places that, like I've said many times before, that I wouldn't always see, or places maybe that I would generally just pass through and not pay attention to. It has made me slow down and look a little closer and enjoy and appreciate what's around me more. And I hope that these videos inspire people to get out and to take a little time and notice what's around you as well, because I think life is short. I think we pass through it too quickly, and we spend a lot of time working and with the pressures of life, and we don't take the time that we should to notice what's around us and actually live. And the streets are lined with these beautiful homes, and it just adds so much to this town. It's Amelia Island Schoolhouse Inn. I assume that at some point this was an actual school, and now it is I think it's the Schoolhouse Inn. I think that's the name of it. I know I showcase churches quite a bit, but churches are always beautiful to me. The buildings are usually some of the most beautiful in town, just the way they're made. So I like to show those just because of the style and the construction. I may not know everything there is to know about the church or the style that it actually was constructed in, or that much about it, but I just know that it's beautiful, and I do like to show them. I got one more I want to show, then I'm going to show a little bit more town, and we're going to call it, we're going to probably end it, because like I say, I could go on and on and on. It's just fascinating to me. This is the Trinity United Methodist Church, and I love these windows, the style on the bell tower up there. It's just all beautiful. A lot of these homes are now inns and other businesses along here, but at one point they were someone's home, and some still are. Now just look at this beautiful, beautiful old house. Like I say, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love these old houses, these old buildings. It's just, my heart's racing right now, which may sound crazy to some people, but it just gives me such a good feeling to see these buildings still here, still in such amazing condition. And there's such a variation in style along these houses, along these buildings. Now some of these are still people's homes. Some are vacation rentals. Some are inns. Some are other things. But regardless of whether they're still someone's home or not, they're still very well maintained and very beautiful. And I'm just really happy that I get to see them, and I get to share them with y'all too. I think I'm going to end it right here. Until next time, I'm Red. Keep exploring. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I truly, truly do. And y'all have an amazing day. And thanks again.